to attack and be in and around the 6 and be goal dangerous. Also, keep an eye on our turf, back in the center of midfield.
Vancouver coming down from Dallas, where they won a cagey affair midweek against the Hoops. Two World Cup host cities kick it into gear. The show on the road from H-Town. Ocampo comes right onto one, and it skips off the near stick.
From Houston Dynamo, just a misplayed ball on the header, and Ocampo nearly gets on the end of that one. Ben Olsen hadn't even had a chance to stand up yet.
This past offseason, after they went their separate ways with Chris Armas and made some trades, Laraz ending up as a free agent. Badwall leaves it back, Berhalter! And a pinball effect for the opener, but the flag arises.
We're offside, but I think it's just an alarm bell there for Houston Dynamo to make sure they're taking note of all the positional players in and around the 18.
Runs well, great pressing 10. Moves along the formation for Vancouver. Badwall. Johnson, Cabrera, corners it back. There's Berhalter! It's a flamethrower over the top of the crossbar.
As the player to watch, because this is how and where he scored his goal. This time, it's a little bit of a dummy, a little bit of a pullback by Mueller, but look at how he just sits right.
Raz, for the third time, takes a tumble. Dynamo break. Ponce for Guilherme. Guilherme curls it on in. What a save by Takaoka. Coming to his left. Curling around to his comfortable end. Bogusz brings it along. Look to be done around Kubas. Anali. Bogusz. Laporta. Back and forth, and Laporta comes along to pop one right into the breadbasket of Jonathan Bond. A race down the I-10, Bogusz. Put it on over for Ponce, and Ponce forcing Takaoka into the save. Bogusz, that long flight, Takaoka coming all the way out. And what occurs here? Cuts down, Bogusz and a red.
And this time he finds his space. Great ball over the top, and as it skips, Takaoka had already come well off his line. He had to make the decision.
Guilherme, Resch. Bogusz blasts over the top, fires it off. Beaumer, the follow from Ponce! The flag coming up.
That's a great sequence by Houston Dynamo, though, understanding a clipped ball with the left boot into the path of Bogusz, who doesn't see a runner, on the 6, so he goes to the near post, testing the goalkeeper once again. Ponce with the follow-up. The flag goes up in the end after that first ball over the top.
Throw ball for Mueller. Laporta finds Mueller, and a low driver where Bond has to react a tad late.
He hasn't been on the ball very much, but this time he takes his opportunity, finds it.
And away it goes with McLean leading the sprint for Guilherme. Guilherme in alone. Guilherme, Beaumer comes out and delivers the big save.
An incredible gut-busting run by Guilherme to make sure he knows the player for Vancouver is coming on his back right there, making the run. And Beaumer just in time.
Anali. That shot straight on at Beaumer coming from Artur. Shortened down Guilherme for Artur. Here's the Brazilian, Guilherme!
And he's screened as well. A clever little touch to beat AZ. Gets just enough of a window of space to put...
Sent away by Bond. Full time.
tonight's match. He's going to give a quick update on Chacha Samasoko.
Yeah, Judgy's going to make it. He's going to be fine. He's a tough kid. Put a scare, I know, into certainly us and the fans, but he's alert, and we got him in good hands, and he may even come back to his house tonight. So we're all thinking of him, but he's going to be fine. So that's the most important thing. As far as the game, just a wonderful win. I mean, it wasn't easy. That team's good. You know, they're where they're at for a reason, and this was reminiscent of the LAFC game and the Colorado game, where it was a real group effort, and everybody showed up and put a pretty good performance on. Certainly in transition, we're getting into these moments, and maybe we could make it easier on ourselves by being cleaner and more clinical in those moments, because it's happening quite a bit, and we were a bit wasteful in that area. But as far as guys defending and understanding the game plan, I can't say enough about that group.
All right, we can go ahead and start with questions. Right here.
Hey, Ben, just wanted to ask you about the transition game. I saw y'all were having success with long through balls, even on the penalty play, long through ball that led to that dangerous play. I saw you give a high five to Resh, and then even Guilherme got through on some of those long balls from the back.
Sure. Well, they press very well. So if they're going to go even numbers at times, we have to push them back and play some longer balls. And that I thought Matty Bogusz did a good job of that. Guilherme. But sometimes it's about securing it when you defend. In a lower block at times. Can you get 2-3 quick passes when you win it and get out quickly? And that's the challenge in the way we played tonight against a very good team. And I thought we did a good job of arriving quickly and securing the ball when we win it and finding real transition moments. Again, we were just wasteful with them, and it took we have to continue to against really good teams. If we're going to be in a low block like that, we have to reward ourselves in some of those transition moments. But again, a lot of good performances, and the Giaggi thing, coming out, I thought Bouzet had a great game. I thought he came in and was really sharp, pressed out well, connected a bunch of passes, broke up plays. He's a winner. So that was a really nice addition to the group. And then I thought the subs late did what they needed to do. Hector was poised and was patient and broke them down, and ultimately we get the goal that I think we deserved a goal in this game. So it's just a good win. Now we got to rest up and patch everybody up, because it's a quick turnaround, another 2 days for a Tuesday game in St. Louis. So no rest. We can enjoy it tonight, but we're back to work tomorrow, recovering and excited about the quarterfinals, and then we finish up with LA.
And how do you calm nerves down of the team after something like that happens? What do you tell the team at half? Is it win it for our teammate? Is it as simple as that, or?
No, I didn't get into it too much at halftime. Certainly keeping updates on Giaggi, but he was alert, and when he was entered the ambulance, he was, he was looking pretty good, and he was aware, and he was talking, but it was a scary moment, and those types of moments always put this into perspective in some ways. And these guys are athletes, and they put their bodies in harm's way all the time, and you see it, and it's just not stuff you want to see, especially someone obviously you see every day and you love, but he's going to be fine. He's a tough kid.
Thank you, man. Congrats on the win.
Thanks.
Juan, right here.
Hello, Coach. Congratulations on the win. I wanted to ask you about Ponce, because today, obviously, in general, the season hasn't been the best for him in terms of scoring goals, but today he was very involved in the build-up, made some good switches of play.
He was great.
Yeah, can you tell me a little bit more about what you saw from his performance?
He's a little snake bit. I mean, all of a sudden he finally, I thought the last 3-4 games he's played, he's been at a pretty good level as far as all the things I talk about, his defensive pressure and how he leads the line and his connections, his hold-up play has been much better, and he's playing, at a pretty good level. It's just, in front of goal, it's not happening. And finally, he's in the right spot. He gets his rebound, and it's offside. So he just has to keep plugging away, and he's disappointed. Strikers want to get that off their back, and I know he's a little disappointed tonight, but he helped us in a big way.
Yeah, and for your defense today, a clean sheet against obviously one of the best offenses in MLS. The red card changes things, but overall, how do you think your low block played today?
I would say even, up until that point, they don't 3 shots on target, so, yes, the red card certainly helped, but I thought up until that point the game was somewhat controlled. They're definitely dangerous, and we had to absorb and defend the box at times, but that you're always going to do that against them. The way they swing you side to side, they get a lot of service, a lot of numbers. I thought the defense held up all night long. The shutouts helped. Bondi was good, made a big save there on a deflection, and just everybody did their part.
Thank you.
David, right here.
Coach, congratulations on the win. Congratulations on the clean sheet. This being the last match before home match before the World Cup break, how would you assess these home games?
This home game or the home games?
Just overall, leading up to this break, making the fans home happy.
We've won more than we've lost, so that's good. Maybe these people come pay money to see us, and we try to entertain, and we want them cheering at the end. And nothing makes me happier than walking around and seeing happy faces and proud of the group's effort. And that that this team is resonating, I think, with them. It's a different way we're going about things. I get that, but again, I think there's and we're starting to figure ourselves out, which is nice. That's the first time we've been in a similar lineup. We're starting to figure out who our starters are, and staying in a consistent structure, which I think is helping these guys.
Thank you, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Alex in the back.
Hi, Alex. It's not a beer.
Good evening, sir. You could share.
H-E-B sparkling water.
Coach, good evening, and forgive me for being late. And if you've been asked this, I apologize beforehand. Defensively, talk to us about what you had in mind, because I think it worked out perfectly. And some people may not see the art behind it. From my limited perspective, you were spot on in the way you approached this match, similar to LAFC. Talk to us about that piece, because maybe people miss that and are more focused on the goal and the red card.
I know it's, there's an art to defending, and starts with commitment and selflessness and willing, to follow a game plan and being okay with that and being comfortable at times absorbing and being a mid-block and at times low block and understanding that we can maybe that's the best version of us right in this moment. Is that where we're going to live? I'm not sure. But right now, in that moment, against this opponent, the coaches and players, bought into what this needed to, what this needed to look like. And there's some other teams that aren't going to look like this. So each game's different in how we're going to go about it. But this was more like the LAFC game, you're right, and more like the Colorado game, in that everybody came to play. Everybody showed up and had a certain selflessness about them on the defensive end, and was really committed for each other. And then in transition, we're dangerous. We break out pretty well. And as I said, you weren't here, but I said we were wasteful in some of those moments, though. 3v2s, 2v1s, 1v1s. We have to continue to work on, if we are in a game like that, being more efficient in some of those transition moments.
Coach, the last time we see you before the World Cup break, LAFC, 3 points, Vancouver, 3 points. Do you think yet about where you stand relative to the rest of this league? These are important wins. I think the league, if they haven't already, are certainly going to take notice. Does that put any more pressure on you?
Oh, I don't know if that's possible. I think we're all living in this, we all think, that we're all more important than we are, and this job and winning is everything. So we all live with this place. I don't have any more expectations because we won, or our job is to continue to pick up points and then and advance in the Open Cup. And that's it. We'll just go game to game. We got to rest up, get this Open Cup game out of the way, and then we go to LA. So two tough opponents, and I just looking forward to getting these guys rested and going to where are we going? St. Louis. We've been traveling a lot. We've got a lot of games. So yeah, looking forward to that one. The guys are already talking about it in the locker room. It's a big game for us. It's a big game for them. There's not a lot of trophies out there, and it's one we'd love to have.
Thank you, Coach.
Right here up front.
Congratulations, first
Thank
of all. Talk about, we all talked about this before. You want to make this place a fortress. Have you got to that point right now? You see the supporters coming out in mass, like tonight's match tonight.
It's going better. It's going better than it did last year at home. And, I think we brought in I've talked about personality in this group, and it was, we brought that in. We brought experience in. We're deeper than we were last year. Again, we're better, in the final third, I think, and finish it. We're more dangerous in transition. And I think we have, a better box defending. So there's a lot of improvements in this group, but we got a long way to go. We got a long way to go. And this wacky season that we're living in, we're going to have one more league game and, an Open Cup game, and then we go away for, 2 months, and then we don't have a game for another 2 months. It's a wacky, so then you go through this whole preseason to kind of solidify and reinvent yourself, and you're going to bring in a player or two. So it's tricky. We're really focused on the next 2 games and finishing out in the strong.
Going into this World Cup break, how are you planning to keep with the players and get them focused on the players that are not playing in the World Cup? How do you plan on keeping everybody focused on when the season starts and through the break?
Well, essentially, they're gone for a few weeks, and then we report back, and we have another preseason. So it's like 2 seasons. We had a preseason into this first half, and then we're going to report, and we have 5 weeks to get them ready for, I think, DC United, the first game back here. So this is, again, we're doing this for the first time, but we know how to do a preseason. We know how to get ready for, the second half of the year. The second half of the year is going to be Saturday, Wednesday, Saturdays, a lot of midweek games. So we got to continue to build depth because we're going to need it.
And the heat.
And the heat. That's fine. We could use some heat.
Thank you.
Good.
Got Max in the back over here.
Good evening, Ben. Again, congratulations.
Thank you.
Taking out postseason games and taking out games where you've played for trophies, you've obviously been around this club for a long time. When it comes to regular season matches, the twists and the turns that this game had with the injuries and the penalties and then obviously how it ended, is this probably one of the wilder regular season games you can remember since you've been here?
It was up there. There's a lot of twists and turns and a lot of drama to this one. And, when you have those nights here at home, it's nice to be on the right end when it all is said and done. And it's an easy game to, it's an easy game to lose in that way because of the way, how much quality they brought to the game. So again, I give our guys a lot of credit for staying focused, understanding how important these points were, how to go about it, following the game plan, and then, just staying with it. I thought they did a very good job throughout the night.
And it seems practically since match day 1 that Guilherme has established himself as the offensive face of your club. And throughout this season, he has had these swings of moments where he is now maybe, quote unquote, maybe bailed you guys out, but in many ways has seized control of games. With how the offensive attack was tonight, what makes him, watching him in practice, watching him in match, what makes his heartbeat just so slow in those moments where he feels like he can just finally break through and take over a game?
I think if you look at him, he jumped on the map here, and nobody really knew who he was his first couple games. And I think he caught a couple teams by surprise, like, well, this guy can play. He's nasty. And then teams started to circle him, and we started manipulating him and moving him in different spots and still trying to figure out where he can have the most success. And and he kind of went through a little bit of a dip. But I think since we've had some consistency in his ability to kind of build some relationships out there, and the group in general to have some consistency over the last month has really helped put him in these opportunities in the pocket or in these isolation moments to have success. And, you know, he asked about his offensive. There's not a lot he can't do. You know, right foot, left foot. He can provide. He can serve. He's good in the air. You know, he's a great athlete and he's a great soccer player. So it's not about that and his talent. We all know how talented he is. It's just, you know, can we put him in the best position and situation for our group?
And lastly, for me, matches like what you had against Salt Lake are going to happen, at least from a defensive standpoint. And you guys have continuously proven that your defense can continually win you games if you guys have the offense to step up and have the opportunity to make goals. What do you feel like this defense has do you feel like this defense has proven that you guys can stop practically any team in this league? And now with what you've now done in LA and now against Vancouver?
That would be a silly comment for me, but I think they're starting to believe that if we collectively are a good defensive team, and that's more important than what I believe. You know, we put them in a position and have asked them to maybe absorb and maybe do a little bit more. And a Guilherme or Matty Bogusz, you know, Ponce, we're asking them to do more than a lot of attackers do. And they're buying into that because they're seeing results. Again, is that how we're going to always look? I'm not sure. You know, we have a whole preseason to kind of figure this out. But in this moment in time, against certain opponents, that's how we're going to go about it. But that doesn't mean we won't break down low pressure when someone comes in here and it's hot and we're going to have the ball the whole time. So it's just each game is really different. But in this moment, it's nice to have a group that is willing to do the work and that we're able to score and be dangerous in transition.
Right over here.
Good evening, everybody. Coach Oscar Rivera here for Pop Entertainment. Congratulations for winning a very tough game. I believe you had a very hard opponent in front. For how the game was developing before the red card, I think after that, really that gave your team, your players, to have that consistency until they achieve that goal. How much do you think that red card contribute for your team to change the dynamic of the game?
It didn't hurt, that's for sure. But I thought up until that point, I thought I think the coaches did a good job. I think the players did a good job of fixing a few things that hurt us in the first half. And I thought it was, up until that point, I thought we looked a lot sharper with the ball. And we had a couple good looks as well. So it certainly helps when a guy goes off. You know, you get they had to absorb there down the stretch, and Guilherme made a play. So yeah, it helped.
Yeah, really happy. They're obviously a top team. Really difficult team to play against. We knew that before. And we're proving to be a very difficult team to beat as well. We're obviously starting to keep clean sheets, winning a lot of games 1-0. We've been very good at home. So, yeah, we have a lot to be happy about. And, yeah, obviously we have 2 big games now before the break, so focus turns to that.
Sounds good. We'll start at the back with Alex.
Good evening, sir. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good to see you. Look, the goal is amazing, and we celebrate the 3 points. But I was asking Coach earlier about the discipline defensively that you have. I think with Agustin and with Antonio, you guys are working. All 3 of you working very well back there. Take us inside of that discipline, because it requires communication. It requires sacrifice, as Coach mentioned, and timing. There's some chemistry there. Am I right?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a really good relationship, actually, between everyone, and obviously a shout out to Lawrence as well, who's come in at left back, and that's just not a natural position for him, but he's done it amazingly well. He's given us a lot. But yeah, we have an Argentinian, Augustin. We have 2 Brazilians and an English goalkeeper. So it's an interesting mix, but we have a really good relationship. We all get on, and we're able to communicate, like you say, really well. And obviously winning and keeping clean sheets and stuff helps the relationships and breeds confidence. And you're really you're seeing a lot of good defensive displays now, I think. And to be honest, it's not just us at the back, it's everyone, like Guilherme and Matty. our two DPs are going wide and really working very, very hard for us. So, it really is disciplined team effort.
Finally, at least for me, you get 3 points at LAFC, 3 points this evening, arguably the top 2 teams in this league. Does that give you, I imagine, confidence? But does that start now putting you in a place where others are going to recognize what this team has and the potential your team has?
Maybe. I personally, I just want us to keep trying to cement that place in the playoffs. Obviously, we're trying to improve as much as we can as we go. I think we have 7 wins out of 13 now, so we're going well. It's a very tight conference. I look around and all the teams around us are always winning as well. So, it's, those 2 teams that you mentioned, LAFC and Vancouver, have been really consistent over the last few years. So I'm not going to sit here and say, we're challenging them 100%, like we want to finish above them. Like, obviously, if we finish above either of those 2, we'll definitely be in a really good position at the end of the season.
Great. Thank you for your time.
We'll go to Max.
Good evening, Jonathan. Good to
Hello.
see you again. Once again, congrats on the win. From your perspective, when you see your attacking front having all the opportunities they had, particularly in that second half, are you kind of the antsy goalkeeper who's just like waiting for the one to break through and is waiting to celebrate? And do you feel like it was kind of almost relieving at the end when you had all those saves opportunities and it was just like, oh, finally the one breakthrough?
Yeah, we had a lot of transition moments, a lot of one-on-ones. It was actually, we had one at Salt Lake as well at 0-0 and we hit the post. And I know that the game changes a lot based on who scores the first goal. So, obviously we were under pressure from a good team, so I really wanted us to kind of get the breakthrough. But then once it goes down, once they go down to 10 men and then we're the ones pushing for the goal, it's more just about, I'm hoping that one of our players can find something, and Guilherme did.
And you're probably well aware that matches like Salt Lake are going to happen in a long season. And when you have that kind of sandwiched in between the LAFC and now tonight, do you feel like that this defense is really, led by you necessarily, really capable of just possibly stopping any offense in this league, now knowing that you've gone against 2 of probably the best offenses in this league and you've proven very stallion in that?
Yeah, I think we have proven that. I think one thing, when we have lost games, we sometimes maybe lose a little bit of confidence where we concede, more than 1 goal or whatever, and then when we're on top defensively, we keep a clean sheet. So, we have to maybe regulate the way we deal with setbacks or conceding goals. But, I think we're proving that we can keep a clean sheet against any top team. And, obviously there's a big break coming up. We're aware of that. And you mentioned the Salt Lake game. We've had a crazy amount of games now with the Open Cup as well on Tuesday. We have a game literally every 2 days for a few weeks. So, it's understandable. There's a lot of travelling. We need to make changes and change things, and sometimes that can happen in MLS. I get that, but it's a great way to bounce back.
And lastly, for me, this is the last time you're going to see this fan base in this at least size in about 80 days. It seemed like this was kind of the epitome of all of the home crowds you've had at least this season. Your coach just talked about how it's a significant improvement from last year. Do you feel like that this place, in this heat, in the weather, do you feel like that this could become like a place that opponents dread to come play at? Because it felt like it, even with all the attacking chances you had, it felt like your defense was just suffocating them and the crowd was in with you in it.
Yeah, I agree completely. It is already, I think we're now making it a really difficult place to come. And it can be even more so, like you mentioned, with the amount of fans we have in the stadium now and the atmosphere they're creating and the energy we have in the stadium. And we can feel it definitely on the field. But as players, we kind of have to earn that a little bit and bring wins and performances and give the fans energy to feed off of.